So, good morning. I'm Helene Peltier. I work in Observatoire Pélagis in La Rochelle University in France. And I'm going to present you a brief overview of our recent knowledge on common dolphin in order to understand the recent increase of strandings along the French Atlantic coast. So the Bay of Biscay is located in the Northeast Atlantic, and common dolphins is the most abundant species in this area. During this talk, I will only focus on the stranding recorded along the French coast. So strandings are recorded since decades along the coast of France, but the observation effort is considered to be stable since 1990. Since 2016, we have an increase of common dolphin strandings, and the absolute record was reached this winter with 1,400 strandings of small cetaceans recorded between December and March. During these events, mostly in winter, up to 90% of fresh and slightly decomposed examined carcasses presented evidence of bycatch. According to fishery observation programs, it seems that the highest level of bycatch were today observed in net métier. We use the reverse drift modeling method to infer bycatch mortality from strandings, and we use the drift prediction model MOTI. Strandings are then corrected by the drift condition and the proportion of buoyant animals. So here you have the bycatch inferred from strandings from 1990 to 2021. Since 2016, the bycatch estimates range between 4,000 per year for 2016, up to 9,400 in 2019 for the highest level. This method also allowed to map the bycatch areas inferred from strandings, and we can see that since 2016, there is a shift of bycatch areas inferred from strandings from southern to northern Bay of Biscay. So how can we explain the recent increase of bycaught common dolphins? Are there an increase in their population, changes in their distribution, an increase in the fishing effort of netters, or changes in their fishing practices? So in order to explore the changes in common dolphin population, we use dedicated aerial surveys at different resolutions. First, the first SAM survey carried out at the scale of the whole French waters were conducted in winter and summer during the year 2011 and 2012. The second SAM survey at the same spatial scale were also carried out in winter and summer in the year 2021. And finally, at a smaller scale, KP7 survey covered an area with the highest bycatch levels were conducted during the winter 2020 with 4 consecutive surveys at a 2-week interval. The protocol used was the line transects, and the data were analyzed using common distance sampling. During the first SAM survey, the encounter rate, so the sightings per kilometer, irrespective of the pod size, were mostly located along the slope and the deeper water of the continental shelf. During the second SAM survey in 2021, also in winter, the encounter rates expand over the continental shelf. So we can see that there is a shift of the distribution from the slope to the shelf between 2011 and 2021 in winter. Because of a decrease of the pod size of the sightings, the abundance of common dolphin in Biscay was stable, and our last abundance estimate in winter 2021 was 180,000 common dolphins in the Bay of Biscay. So there is a stability in delphinid abundance in this area between 2011 and 2021 in winter. At a smaller scale, in winter 2020, the KP7 survey showed rapid changes in common dolphin distribution at 2-week resolution in winter, and also rapid changes in animal densities. We inferred encounter rates from the first SAM survey in the same area, and it confirms higher coastal density in recent years. Are there changes in fishing effort or practices of netters? Apparently, at the scale of mandatory data calls, there are no change in the fishing effort, except an increase of hake landings. We are currently working on an exploration of individual fishing strategy of netters by linking AIS, VMS, and landings data. three main fishing strategies were identified. First, the linear strategy. It's mostly related to hake landings and for larger vessels above 24 meters. The proportion of this strategy among the others between 2015 and 2019 is increasing. There is also the half-turn strategy, mostly related to sea bass landings for smaller vessels, and in that this strategy is decreasing over the period 2015-2019. And finally, the accordion strategy, related to sole landings for larger vessels, and also decreased. So apparently, there are changes in fishing practices. The question is, are these changes related to changes in gear size or types that could be more at risk for dolphin bycatch? So to sum up, there are no increase in dolphin population, but there are changes in their distribution from offshore to coastal areas. Apparently, there are no increase in fishing effort of netters, at least at the resolution of the mandatory data calls. But it needs to be confirmed, but it seems that there are changes in their fishing practices. So to go further, there are no changes detected in dolphin abundance in winter. But what about the summer situation? There is a temporal extension. We need to explore further the individual fishing strategy and mostly the co-occurrence between strategies and dolphin bycatch areas. We need to improve our knowledge on population structure of common dolphin in the Bay of Biscay. All this work are in progress. We recently submitted a paper on the mortality estimates using the drifting carcasses detected by aerial surveys and using the common distance sampling method. As far as we know, it's the first time that there are so many drifting carcasses detected by aerial survey that we can provide an estimate of mortality using common distance sampling. We know that there are already impacts of bycatch on common dolphin demography, as there is a decrease in the age of maturity of females and a decrease in survivorship since 2002. Despite many research programs on dolphin ecology and mitigation, our main challenges is still having robust information on bycatch levels, their circumstances, and fishing practices. I thank you for your attention, and I also would like to thank warmly all the members of the French Stranding Network, mostly after the crazy winter we had, and so many time spent on dolphin carcasses, and also all the members of the aerial survey crew that work with us since years. Thank you.